And let me say here that this whole thing was a total experiment. I don't think any of us knew what to expect. And just to get in front of this, Antoine did not bring Dooley in here to talk about the movie. All right, so you wanted to bring him in here and ask him a question. Do you have your question?
I want to know why y'all feel that it's so important for y'all to demand respect but don't want to give it.
When you say y'all, you putting everybody in the same boat.
Well, I can't put everyone in the same boat because there is some guards that are respectful. But it's some, being you in particular with me, I feel that you're just disrespectful. Like the other day in the office, I asked you to come here. If you was to ask me to come here and I told you to hold on, you'd have rolled me up because I didn't follow direct order.
I acknowledge you. I told you to hold on. Unless you're bleeding, much more important than what you needed at that time. I've never once called you outside your name.
No,
I've never slandered you in any way.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna say that, and I never will say that until that happened. But what I'm saying is that's not the only.
You come in here and you say I'm disrespectful because you don't get what you want when you want.
In my eyes, I feel like you and other guards view us as if we're nothing. Y'all walk around with y'all head held up. You know what I'm saying? It's always y'all win. No matter what the situation is, y'all win. You have an arrogant attitude. Your attitude is, I'm Dooley. I'm Big Bad Dooley.
If I tell you to do something that's not illegal, that's not going to jeopardize your life, that's not offensive, you should have no problem doing it. Whether you like it or not is a totally different story.
That's where the disrespect come in. Because
it's not disrespectful.
Okay, you had me pick up dandelions just to prove a point to me. To prove a point that y'all have power.
Okay, so you're still upset over the dandelion deal?
Yes, I really am.
If you wouldn't have bucked up against that officer that day.
But see, that's what I'm saying. You never came and asked me exactly what happened.
Don't need to.
Exactly. You took your officer's word and you left it at that. It's always three sides to each story. My side, his side, and the truth. You left two sides out and you went off of what your officer said. You never came to me as a man and asked me, you know what I'm saying? And then you forced me to do something just because you could, and if I didn't, you threatened to ship me.
Antoine is saying Lieutenant Dooley threatened to ship him to another prison.
I don't remember threatening to ship you, but I could. I could. Disobedience to order.
Exactly, and you told me trying to override your staff, you could ship me. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't pick up dandelions, you would put me in the holding cell.
And if I remember correctly, that was over you trying to get other people to stand up against that officer and not do what he was telling you to do.
No, that's exactly.
So, okay, sure. They weren't talking about the history of the drug war or the prison industrial complex or any of the other big ideas from the movie. But it was interesting to listen to them argue like this. It was intimate. It was personal. They were bickering like family members, like a dad and his kid going at it. And I felt like I was seeing something people on the outside don't usually have the opportunity to see. You realize, oh, right. These two are embedded in each other's lives in a way that only happens when one person has the power to punish the other, and the other person has a whole lot of time to stew over it. And the thing that was bugging Antoine, the dandelions, seems small, but kind of gets to the heart of what he hates about being incarcerated. And he wanted to hash that out with Dooley. Obviously, there's disagreement about what happened that day, which was months ago, by the way. Antoine says another officer had given some other inmates a few tasks to do, like pick up trash. Antoine went up to the other inmates and told them they were allowed to do the tasks in a different order than the guard did. Dooley says that's not how it happened, that Antoine Wells was telling other inmates to disobey a guard. So Dooley gave him what they call extra duty. In this case, to pick dandelions.
Was it hard?
No, I mean, it wasn't hard. It was just...
Did it take a lot of time?
No, it didn't take a lot of time. It's still the principle. You made me...
Did you break any bones?
No, you could have said go pick up some trash. You specifically made me pick up a flower that grows out the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you could.
Right.
Exactly. It's always going to be officers that feel like just because I have the power and authority, I can do and say what I want to these people.
There wasn't just to put power and authority. I am where I am because I have morals, ethics, and beliefs that I stand by.
Still, yeah.
I think your problem, Mr. Wells, is you like to dwell on the fact that you don't get your way each and every time, and that's part of the reason that you're in prison.
No, it's not.
Because you like to buck the system.
I'm in prison because I shot somebody, I never deny that fact. I'm in prison because I put myself here.
Okay.
I made the choices in my life because I chose to.
And those are poor decisions.
I don't blame nobody for nothing that happens. But when I feel that's just like it's some guards here that's just rude for no reason. I don't understand that. You didn't care enough about me to even ask me my opinion. You didn't care enough about nothing that I had going on, once again, because I'm an inmate. Y'all feel just because I came to the penitentiary
you being a
that I
defender
have no
has
rights.
nothing to do with it. Because you have no say over
Policy
anything.
and procedure.
You have no say to tell my officer what he can and cannot do to ask people to do.
Exactly. That's the point where you're missing.
They went on like this for more than 20 minutes.
When you made me pick up dandelions because you could.
That's not disrespect.
You power abused because you could. You just admitted that.
It's not even abuse of power.
Oh, okay.
Finally, I interrupted and asked them what they thought about the movie we just watched. Dooley had actually seen it before. He had it recorded on his DVR. And he liked it. He told me that for several years now, he's felt that the country needs to rethink the way it does corrections. He said he often tells inmates that when they get down to the last 3 years or so of their sentence, he thinks they should be released early. When you see that movie and when you think about your day-to-day, like, are you dissatisfied? Are you frustrated with the system?
Absolutely.
Where it's gotten?
Absolutely.
What frustrates you most?
The fact that we have now taken people and made them a monetary commodity. Right now, the big thing is the push to privatization, to make money off of prisons, to make money off of people's lives, to make money to incarcerate people. That, to me, seems backwards.
He turned to Antoine for a second.
And this is not to push your button or anything like that. I did more in 10 seconds of his life by making him pick up dandelions. He will remember the fact that I came up there and I told him to pick dandelions for arguing with an officer. He will remember that forever. And if that one issue makes him hate me to the point where he doesn't ever want to put himself in that position again, then I have done my job. I've done my job to correct an action forever.
What do you think of that, Antoine? You get that?
I mean, I understand it, but I still don't feel it's fair. Penitentiary, to me, is just slavery in another form. In my eyes, these are my owners, and I have to do what they say, otherwise I have consequences. Just like the slave master. You either do what he say or you get punished.
Then the conversation got more personal. Lieutenant Dooley told Antoine that the last time he got out of prison, he had a chance to stay out, to make a different life for himself. But instead, he reoffended. Antoine said he didn't have many options. And it was around this point that Antoine and Dooley actually started to hear each other out a bit.
What was I supposed to do? I come from the hood. I come from nothing. You tell me what was I supposed to do.
Now you're talking outside my purview because I don't know where you're from.
Exactly. You don't know where I'm from, and I don't feel that you would care. Me as a person, if I didn't have all the tattoos or whatever, you know what I'm saying, if I had the money to get them removed, you can put me in a white-collar neighborhood, and I can make it because I have an education. You know what I'm saying? I have 2 years of college. I have no other option but to accept my choices that I made. You know what I'm saying? I do admit my failures. You know what I'm saying? But I will say that there were obstacles that at that time I didn't think right of overcoming, so I chose the wrong way to overcome them.
You know what? I grew up very poor. I didn't know I was poor. My mom always had two different jobs growing up. I was taking care of my little brother at the age of 8 by myself. I'm on this side, you're on that side. That's all decisions. You know the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah.
But you make the conscious decision to continue doing the same things and expect different results.
Sometimes you get pinned in a corner and you're forced to do what you know. Like when I got out of the penitentiary this time, for 3 days I wore the same clothes until I went out and had to steal me some clothes. My sister and my brother and my mama didn't give me no handout. You know what I'm saying? Jobs, they went, you're a felon. You know what I'm saying? I applied for 35 jobs with my little brother. And just because both of us is felons, we got nowhere. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go commit a crime, make me some money, and then go get me a dope sack.
See, if I were to go, the first thing I would do would try to go pick up a lawnmower or something and go mow some lawns. That's the difference in thought.
Yeah. That was an option. But still, yeah, once again, where am I going to get the lawnmower from?
I got friends.
I feel like society made a lot of rules to keep people safe, but at the same time, the people that they was trying to keep safe from, they gave us no other option but to go back out and reoffend because they put so many limitations on what we could do that you have no other option but to go back to what you used to do.
I've heard that same story for 14 years. I don't know how to fix it. If I did, I'd be a millionaire. If I did, there wouldn't be people in prison because I could tell them how to fix it.
That conversation took place about a month and a half ago, and since then I've wondered if it changed anything for Antoine and Lieutenant Dooley, if it improved their relationship at all. So I called them up the other day to ask them. I talked to Dooley first, and he said he'd only run into Antoine a couple times since they'd talked, so he hadn't really noticed a difference.
But he did come down here, and when I called him down for this interview, he didn't have that same negative attitude he normally did.
Dooley said he hadn't thought much about the conversation since it happened, and when I asked him if it changed him at all, if he felt more sympathetic towards Antoine, or if he thought differently now about the way he disciplines inmates, he said no, not at all. Then he went to get Antoine.
If you want to have a seat right there, Mr. Wells. Hello?
Hi, Antoine.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Brian Reed. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I asked Antoine the same question. Had the conversation changed anything between him and Dooley? And he said, yeah, it had.
Well, to me, before it was like if I asked something, he was dismissive or he'd keep going as if he didn't see me or something like that. But now, you know what I'm saying, if I ask him a question or whatever, he takes the time to talk to me about the issue right then and there. He doesn't blow me off, you know what I mean? I feel now that he looks at me as a human being more than he did then.
Wow, it's interesting because I just got off the phone with Lieutenant Dooley, and he says it hasn't the conversation hasn't changed him at all.
To me, it has, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it was the conversation or it was just that I didn't know him at the time, you know what I'm saying? Or I didn't want to know him, you know, I don't necessarily know, but I mean, I feel like the conversation that we had, I feel like it helped me, even if it didn't help him, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it have helped me see him in, I don't know, I guess the way that he should be seen in. I'm not for sure. I got to know that it's not him being disrespectful, it's just him doing his job. My perception was maybe the one that was off.
Wait, Antoine, is Lieutenant Dooley sitting right there?
Nuh-uh.
Really? Because it's
Yeah.
almost like you're totally proving him right, and I was wondering if he was like watching over you right now to make sure you said these things.
Nuh-uh. No.
It's surprising that this is where things ended up. When Antoine went into the conversation, his goal was to bring Dooley around to seeing his side of things. Instead, the opposite happened.
Brian Reed. You can see Eugene Jarecki's prison movie, The House I Live In, and believe me, it will get to you. It's available on every possible internet platform. The film's website is thehouseilivin.org. This is American.
Okay, that was This American Life with Ira Glass. I'm hearing it on Sunday the 11th of August. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Thought you needed to hear that. Ciao.